I'm Aden Matthews.
And I'm Zach Snyder.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast, the one-stop shop for everything and anything related to YouTube.
The show where my funny bit of the week is that I have done nothing but sit in this chair and edit all week, so my life is super boring and I have nothing funny to bring to the table.
It's kind of sad. Kind of a sad existence
kind of.
you got for yourself.
Kind of.
Now, maybe it shouldn't be a funny bit of the week. Maybe it should be like Zach's Cry for Help, right? We can have that as like the new branded segment, you know?
There you go. I mean, we did it for 2 years. So.
That was more of the Zach and Aden collectively bitch for 2 hours. I'm talking like...
True.
I'm talking 30 seconds of you just complaining, and then we move on, and then that's it. It's like, wow, that was Zach's Cry for Help of the week. What you think about that? Let us know down. I think there's some branding.
Down in the comments.
There's some opportunities there.
I think you're spitting. Yeah.
Spitting bullshit.
But we'll have to keep that as a Patreon exclusive content. So, no, we don't have a Patreon, but we do have an Anchor.fm thing. But before we talk about it, what are we doing this week? What's the episode?
Are doing the ever popular, award-winning best segment on YouTube podcast. Your week on YouTube trademark. Wow, we're gonna talk about our week.
Wow.
Maybe asking what award, and I got in the mail a Reader's Digest YouTube Podcast of the Year little sticker that was sent, and I got that on the fridge, so I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud.
You said award, and I was like, do podcasts even get awards? And sure enough, there is the Podcast Awards, People's Choice. And then there's the iHeartRadio Podcast Awards.
Yeah, nobody care about no damn iHeartRadio.
You know,
cringe.
People be giving awards to podcasts, including ours, as you just heard.
Imagine like having to judge one of those though. Because that basically means all you do is listen to podcasts all day. And you would have to listen to like the 3 nominees. And if each episode is like several hours and you want to go through their backlog of that year, that's miserable.
I mean, we watch a lot of YouTube.
Sure.
So I'm sure there's somebody out there that listens to a lot of podcasts.
I have this is unrelated, but maybe you'll find this interesting. A slight dream or fantasy I've been having recently is like
Dream the Mask.
No,
no.
Not that.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Is I really like the idea of like being a truck driver and just listening to podcasts all day while driving the open road, you know. And I don't know if I'm just getting older or I like trucks, I guess, but I don't know. I was thinking about that recently. I'm like, that'd be really nice if I wasn't doing YouTube and I could just like drive a truck all day and listen to podcasts and videos and shit. Just me and myself, you know, that'd be pretty cool.
I get it. You know, I'm famously 25 without a driver's license. Can't even listen to Olivia Rodrigo's song and fully relate. But it's one of the things where it's like whenever I do get a vehicle, like I might dead ass just sign up to like drive for Uber Eats or something, just so I can get away for a couple hours a day and like listen to some podcasts while on the road.
It's like when I'm mowing the lawn or having to do a bunch of long chores like cleaning, it is the perfect time to just grab some headphones and tune out the rest of the universe, which hopefully, back on track, you do with this podcast. Maybe you're, you know, scrubbing the toilet right now and you're listening to me and Zach talk. And you're like, so true, bestie. And then you get back to cleaning the toilet again.
I'm a little upset you brought the topic back because I was going to mention Forza Horizon 5 coming out and how I was going to basically do that while playing that game. But yeah, the podcast. Let's
you can include that on your week on YouTube. So, you know, like you can throw that in there. Speaking of which, it's your turn. I went last time, so you get to go.
Oh, that's right.
And talk about your week. So
that's right. So first on the list of my week on YouTube is talking about our sponsor today.
That's my favorite
part. Awesome
part.
Creator Academy.
My favorite part of the week, everybody. When we read the sponsorship thing that's pinned in the Discord.
I want to create a podcast that's just called Awesome Creator Academy YouTube Starter Kit sponsor the podcast.
Sure.
In every episode, we'll just talk about how if you're getting started on YouTube and you have a little money to throw around, why not check out the YouTube Starter Kit?
Good intro.
And then
good
our
intro.
second part, yeah, exactly. Our second part, we can talk about how, like, for $99, get over $1,500 of value and downloads from templates, advanced YouTube thumbnails, channel artwork, end cards, lower thirds, royalty-free background music, fonts, and more. Pretty crazy.
I agree.
Going into our Q&A section, we'll talk about how, like, pay one price, have unlimited access to future downloads as they come out. And you can find that in the link description or in the show notes. In doing so, you'll be supporting another YouTube podcast.
Right, but like all good podcasts, the best part is the classic banter between the hosts. So this is when I would come in and be like, but Zach, what if I don't have $100 and I'm poor and stupid and ugly? Well, you can become a supporter on Anchor at anchor.fm/another-YouTube-podcast. You can decide to support us financially at $1, $5, or $10 a month, and we'll read your name on the podcast. While we plan to do it for a really long time, the more financial support we have, the easier it will be for us to maintain a consistent schedule. So,
yeah.
Good idea. Good pitch for the show.
Award-winning podcast right there.
Clearly.
Award-winning.
All right. Well, that was a good first thing. What else did you do this week? Anything else?
You know, a little bit. So we've been a little ahead on the YouTube podcast uploads. And then as it just turns out, we are no longer ahead on the YouTube podcast uploads. It's Saturday, June 26th, and the next episode needs to go out on Sunday, June 27th. And the reason we haven't recorded is a couple of things. Number one, both of us have, like, been putting a lot of work into our own channels and, like, doing some shit. And so, like, we kind of wanted to have a couple of those things done before we recorded another Your Week on YouTube. So we had things to talk about. And so, yeah, like, I don't even know where to begin. I guess, like, the real brief part is that E3 happened this year, and for some reason, every time around E3, as much as I hate it, there's something in my brain that's like, ooh, now I can make a lot of content. And, like, in the past, it's been, I'm gonna live stream E3, I'm gonna live tweet it, make Instagram videos talking about the conferences. None of that this year. It's no one cares. So instead, the first main thing I did was I brought back the personal channel. It's been a year since I uploaded. Put out a couple of very quick E3 prediction videos, along with, like, an entire video talking everything that happened at E3. Again, no one really cares. I just mentioning that. I brought back the Let's Talk About It series.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
On my Patreon in the $3 tier, I have this thing called Let's Talk About It, where people who sign up for it can tell me to make a video on anything. And in the past, I've made videos from everything like Crisis on Infinite Earths to
Pro Jared. You did a whole
Pro Jared.
Did a whole video.
Yeah, that video is private. But, about a year and a half ago, I did one on Papa John's Pizza, and I decided to do a freebie to get this started. I did Papa John's Pizza again, and it's a funny video.
I'm thinking about
quite enjoyed making it.
Signing up to Patreon again so I can make Zach talk about Doug Walker for 15 minutes. You know, I'm hoping I can make my contribution to the personal channel, like, well loved. You know, so
Doug Walker, yeah.
Here's hoping.
We doing our Doug Walker cast.
Oh, that would be
all right.
My Titans in the trash bin, right? If Titans for you is like a miserable experience that you have to watch week to week, the idea of us exclusively talking about Doug Walker and Doug Walker related videos terrifies me to my core.
It'd be a pretty awful idea.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't be our first.
Wouldn't be.
Wouldn't be our first. But no, I'm hyped. I'm hyped the personal channel's back.
Me too.
Missed having it.
Me too.
It's been fun to see the shit post.
That's basically what it is. It's like very small videos that I'm like, let me make something really funny. I ordered a bundle of t-shirts off of some random website, and I made a video called So. I bought 10 random shirts online. It's just me reacting to what shirts I got. So that was pretty funny.
You had hyped it up, and
I did.
The funny thing about that video specifically is it peaks with the first shirt. We get the cheese balls shirt, and then it's like, oh, this is funny. I wonder if the rest are. And it's like Game of Thrones, like shit that Zach knows about. There's an aliens one in there. There's like 2 or 3 COVID shirts. And so we dip drastically in quality until like the very last shirt, which gets into like so bad it's good territory that it's funny.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for like Super Dad, or like just shit that like I should absolutely not be wearing, but it'd be funny for a video. And that's why I got the cheese ball shirt. Like that one I picked out specifically. That wasn't the random one. So I was like, fuck, taste. Dude. It's a great shirt. It's showing up in my newest video that's going out public today. But yeah, let me talk about that because Yin is back. 2021. Oh shit.
My face when the new Yin comes out. You can't see it.
6 months.
You can't see it, but I'm doing the pog face. Like you just imagine.
Bro, now I'm doing the pog face.
Poggers. Hell yeah.
YouTube podcast. 6 months.
Wow.
Not an upload. I finally put out this damn Disney video that I've been talking about for longer than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the golden age of Disney, talking about the first 5, technically 6 Disney animated films, kind of the history behind it, some review shit, and then some funny bits. I think it turned out really well.
We did. Our last episode was like a little bit of an editing breakdown. And while I don't want to do that again here, kind of a similar thing that we did do in that video was like favorite thing, least favorite thing. Like what was that for this video in terms of like editing and moments?
Oh yeah. In terms of like the process or like the video?
Just you know how we did with the editing breakdown. Yeah. Just your favorite part and least favorite.
I think my least favorite part of this video in particular was I had probably about another 10 minutes of content here that I had to keep taking shit out so that the video would flow better. Pacing is something that I have been continuously trying to get better and better at, because there's nothing worse than watching an old video of yours and realizing that like this joke is not landing, this bit is too long, no one gives a fuck about this fact. Like,
get to the point, that type of shit.
Right. So like, I mean, there's an entire joke about how Geppetto from Pinocchio should go to jail because his kid that was just born yesterday is talking to strangers, and why he didn't teach him how to do his taxes before he left the house. Like that was the joke. And then in the original Pinocchio book, Geppetto actually does get arrested in like chapter 4 or something. So I was going to mention that, but it just was not going to work. It was going to take too long to set all that up. So I removed that.
Didn't you say like the original recording was like up to 50 minutes or something like that? Like real crazy.
I mean, it was about like a 50-minute to an hour long recording. And that's, you know, after you take out flubs and shit that completely needs to get taken out. But I mean, that was another like, it was probably going to be like a 47-minute video before I cut out other shit. Another big thing was like, I'd be talking about Snow White's voice actor being annoying, and then I'm like naming the voice actress and saying how she was like the first, this is her only role and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up just like cutting that entire voiceover out and just putting like a little note on the screen that was like, this is her, and I found that to be better, but like doing that is definitely a pain in the ass.
I get it.
My favorite part is a little section called "Meet That Baddie."
He got his own little short.
Yeah, I sexualized the villains from Pinocchio, so that's pretty fun.
I enjoyed that too, quite a lot. It had Pokemon waifus energy, where you're just like sexualizing things that should not be.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole point is like, how can I make puns relating to that? And you did. Sure did.
Yeah,
that was pretty epic.
I cut out a joke at the end because the whole "When You Wish Upon a Star" song from the Pinocchio movie ends in a line of "All your desires will come to you," and originally this ending segment was going to be like "All your desires will come on you," and I decided that was a little bit much.
I think that goes against the PG rating.
Yeah. Yeah, but that would have been funny anyways. But I cut that out.
It was a really good video. Yeah. It was interesting because it had a lot of new shit in it. Like, not only is it widescreen, or is widescreen the best? It's a different aspect ratio.
Yeah.
You know? So it's not the standard 16:9. It's a bit thinner. There's black bars on the top and bottom.
It's 21:9.
21:9. But it also has like a new background. You were messing around a little bit with the editing, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, like adding little fun facts down there, and changing up the way you use space. Because there was a lot of shots where it was just like the film or that sort of stuff. But if you're mentioning like one thing, you'll get like 2 or 3 square images all laid out aesthetically pleasing, so it like flows from one shot to another. And then probably my favorite part was the end. You did like a little musical montage with the Disney films and taking the songs from each one. That was super cool.
It's funny because we did our editing breakdown episode last time, and in your video that we talked about, at the end you had like a little you called it a bumper, and it was just like this really neat little segment and moment in the video that didn't really have to be there, but it was dope. It was nice. I thought, kind of got inspired after seeing that, and then after seeing a couple of other things to kind of do something similar in my video, and it was cool. It was cool to do. I don't know how often I'll do something like that, but it was a cool experiment, and I'm glad I put it in there.
Heck yeah.
But that was the Disney video. I like started writing that script like a year and a half ago when I did the Snow White video. And then like,
how long ago was it when we actually watched the films for the first time?
The first time, it was probably, I want to say, middle of 2019.
Wow. So about 2 years ago today.
Right? Yeah, because we started watching them, I think, in the middle of 2019. Snow White video came out in September of 2019.
Pretty quick turnaround.
I'd say so. I had the Pinocchio script mostly done around the same time that the Snow White video came out, and then decided to, things happen, whatever. And then I recently, over the last like 6 months, had decided to put it together into a whole Golden Age retrospective. And then recorded it, I think, in February, and finally got around to editing it in May. So for like a good 3 weeks, the end of May and the beginning of June, I just like nonstop edited the video.
Wild story, wild turnaround.
I agree. I put it out and I shared it with a buddy of mine named Dan, who I've told you about. He does some of the editing with me on the Pat Fun Pokemon channel, and he was telling me to like. One of the things I could do is start making some YouTube shorts related to Disney stuff, since I had that video and I was obviously going to do more. I was like, that sounds interesting. I could probably try to do something like that. And so I took that Meet That Baddie section and turned that into a short. And it's got more views than the
actual video. Yeah, it's like 700. Or not 700. That was the Steamboat Willie one.
That was the Steamboat Willie one. It's got like 134. Golden Age video has 125. But then I was like looking at TikTok and some other shit that other people had done Disney related, and some girls like reviewing all of the Disney movies with songs in them, and they're getting pretty decent views. So I was like, let me just try to do everything on Disney Plus and start from the very beginning chronologically. And so I'm putting out these like very short, under a minute videos like once every couple of days. I'm going to be going through all as much of the Disney stuff as I can. You know how I am with plans. Like, it'll probably fall through at some point. But for now, that first one got like 700 views in like a day. Shit was insane.
YouTube Shorts, man. I'm popping off.
They are. And I've been posting them on TikTok too. And one of them's like, that same one has like 500 views on there. There's a couple of other TikToks here that are doing well. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to try to keep that up. But also, when I put out that video, I was talking to you a little bit. I was talking to Jay a little bit. And I was like, man, I got to put out more videos. And a couple weeks ago, we were in call talking about something candy related. And we came across this website called Old Time Candy, where you can buy these boxes of candy from different decades. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a video on this box of candy from the 1950s. And it took a couple days to get here. I recorded it, and shit's going out today. So that was a really quick turnaround for a video as big as this.
As you're listening to it right now, you're listening to this podcast, video's out. Go check it out.
Exactly.
I have not seen it, so I cannot commentate on it because it is not out currently at the time of recording this. But rest assured, I will have thoughts. I'll have notes. I'll give it a grade.
Yeah.
In the comments section, I'll be like a teacher. Zach doesn't pay attention in class. Type shit.
I'll have you know that I was the kid that was a pleasure to have in class. That's what my teacher said about me. Yeah.
Did you bribe her with shit?
Fucking nerd.
Did you give her a bunch of food and shit?
No, I was just a fucking nerd.
Damn. Goody two.
This video is like a 20 minutes just comedy fest. Like, shit's just hitting you. It moves fast. It was also like a 54-minute recording session. And I thought the video was going to be like 35 minutes. And I like ruthlessly just cut shit. So it moves fast. It's 30 pieces of candy in like 20 minutes. It's a lot, but I'm really happy with how it turned out.
There's something to say about videos that are not in any way, shape, or form, informative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the Disney video, you're covering a lot of history. These are films that a lot of people care about. It takes a long time to form your opinions and scripts and thoughts and that type of shit. But with something fucking stupid like a fucking candy bar that nobody gives a shit about, and you have like free reign to do whatever you want, then I imagine from an editing perspective that it's not as hard to be like, oh, well, they really got to know about the history of the Whopper. I better keep this 15-minute. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about
nobody
shit
gives a fuck, right?
Yeah. So you can just crack a stupid ass joke and move on.
That's the brilliance of it. And it's even like a thing where in the recording phase, I walked out of this video thinking I can probably do some cool stuff with this, but I'm not like, this ain't like that great. But then once I get into that editing zone and I'm like piecing shit together, like ideas are coming, I'm like, oh, I can put this little funny, stupid sound bite here, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. Like, shit gets really fun really quickly.
Yeah.
So recommend, like, if you're really into like script writing and trying to like cultivate the perfect fucking video, try to do the opposite and see what happens.
Try to make it worse. No, I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's fun to do. So that's the new yen. We got two of them coming out in the last couple of weeks. The YouTube Shorts, TikTok's coming back. personal channel's coming back, and then I made a website.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about
So
that for how long on this podcast now? Should have.
I don't know.
Like
I think I like
at least
made
a year.
mentions of I should make a website at some point.
You finally did it, ladies and gentlemen. We are turning a new leaf.
Finally did it. The website, youreverydaynerd.com. Go check it out. I'm posting articles. Currently got an article on the iCarly 2021 revival, as well as a weekly TV roundup where I talk about the TV shows I'm watching that week, and a couple of behind the scenes articles on the Yins. So if you want to read a little bit more about the Disney video or the crossover video with Adam Sandler movies, you can go check that out at youreverydaynerd.com.
Exclusives.
Pretty epic.
Exclusives.
Until I put them on another website.
We don't gotta know about that. You're doing the Xbox approach. Exclusive, but also
exclusive.
Like if you really want, there's some other
also
options.
Like medium.com, and I'll probably make videos about some of it at some point or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm in super productive mode recently, which is really cool. I'm hoping I don't crash and burn anytime soon because it feels good to be making shit again. And like I got plans. I've got more than just ideas on a spreadsheet right now. I've got like fully fledged like bits that are going into some future videos, or like half of a script and certain videos are done, and it's an exciting little time to be around right now.
It's crazy how much you can get done when you don't play Fortnite every day. Like in that,
isn't that
wild?
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I haven't played a video game in the last week.
This podcast could have just been, so I got Rick Sanchez in Fortnite and I'm doing the Renegade. And that's my week on YouTube. I do have
Rick Sanchez in Fortnite, though. I already have him. I may have bought some levels, Aden.
Oh, no. I
may have bought some levels in Fortnite to get Rick Sanchez.
That's awful.
So that's the sad thing.
But hey,
also,
you get shit done, right? Maybe it's worth it.
I've gotten shit done, which is cool. It's some fun stuff. What have you been up to? You've been up to some shit too.
Right. After starting Sketa Industries, I was wondering if I was gonna like have any free time to like do video type stuff, but I've been managing to pull away from the corporate boardroom meetings to work on my own art, and that's been super liberating. So up first on the docket, most important thing on the docket, I finally, after not 6 months, I believe the last upload was 4 months ago. After 4 months, I finally uploaded a video. It's the Zelda video that I've been talking nonstop about on the YouTube podcast and on Anchor, a bunch of shit. It's finally out. It's under 30 minutes. It's the first video edited with DaVinci Resolve. Has a lot of new editing techniques and shit. And man, I'm just happy with it. I'm like, there's
it's really good.
There's videos I watch of mine that I release, and I'm like, oh, that could have been better. I could have cut that down. I would have done this thing. This time, I've seen this video like literally 2 or 3 times at this point, and I'm going to watch it again with Jay later today. I've not had any issue with it. I've just been like, this is nice. This is just really nice and comfortable, and I'm glad I can feel happy about it because it took so much time to do.
I think what's cool is we've mentioned on the podcast not that long ago that like for you, Jay, and myself, so many videos that we've put out over the last like year and a half to 2 years have been, oh, this is my new favorite video of yours. This is my new favorite video of yours. Like the Zelda video is absolutely my new favorite video of yours. It is definitely the best in like all regards, which is really cool.
I thought about it last night, and the way I would describe it is as my first video of 2021. Like technically, I've released 3, right? The 230 for 30s and the PC build video. But those could have been released in 2020 and should have been, but things took a little longer. This is, in my opinion, my first official new year, new me, 2021, guns blazing, fixing a bunch of shit, improving to another level of this year. And
it's a new era of Aden content.
It is. It's the start of something new. I want to do more videos like that, in hopefully quicker time. Because that one took a lot longer. But you'll be happy to know that once I finished the video, uploaded it and everything, I went to Control Panel, went to Programs, and then I found the little Sony Vegas button right there, and I clicked uninstall. Shit. It is gone.
Yo,
I am no longer using Sony Vegas for anything. I did comedy music. I did the Greatest Hits album. I did LHG. I did Aden on Anchor. Done everything. The last thing was to do a official Blue Couch Productions video, and I finally did it. So we're all Da Vinci all the time, baby. Fully made the switch.
Hell yeah! I think what's cool about that switch is you not only like did a video, like you did your best video in Da Vinci, and that's super cool.
I dread the possibility of what this video would have been like in Vegas and how much time I would have had to spend to replicate some of the results. Because there's a lot of keyframe shit in this.
Well, let me ask you the same question you asked me. What is your favorite part of this video, and what is your least favorite part of this video?
So, favorite, I'll just come out right in front and say the whole Metroid bit. Like,
yeah.
A big part of this video was taking all these different plot lines and stuff and melding them. But the hardest one to do was to do the transition from talking about dungeons to talking about this Bad Breath of the Wild video. And it's like, there's a lot of ways I could have done that. I could have came on camera and been like, now we're going to talk about the Bad Breath of the Wild video. I thought about maybe having like a dream sequence or something, or whatever, but I couldn't find a good transition to go from that point to another one. So what I ended up doing was I took an interview clip where I talked about Breath of the Wild, mentioned a bad video, and then out of nowhere, a warning sign comes up, bars, sirens, Ridley fucking shows up and drops a fireball, flies through the damn fireball, and I'm in like a robot voice saying like, warning, Aden is about to pop the fuck off. And in the background is a bunch of footage that I filmed in the woods for like, originally was going to be a serious thing, but I just didn't care anymore. I was throwing all that shit in there. It is a chaotic fever dream type of a joke. But every time I rewatch the video, that's the part where like, oh, it's coming. The Metroid part's coming up again. I'm so hyped. So that was easily my favorite thing of the video.
It's you showed it to me out of context a few days ago, and I thought it was funny then. But when you get to the I just watched it again. When you get to that you running down the fucking street, and then you got a fucking plastic master sword in the woods. I'm like, this is brilliant.
So, it takes a long time for me to have funny shit to say. That was one of the funniest things, and it's gonna be when I go back to look on this video, that'll be like, oh yeah, the fucking Metroid bit. That's nice. That's real nice. So that's my favorite. In terms of like,
hell yeah,
least favorite, I don't know if this necessarily has to do with the video itself, but I watched in preparation for this video so many bad Breath of the Wild hot takes that I almost didn't want to play Breath of the Wild to get footage for the video, because all I could think about was a bunch of middle-aged white people in their 30s who played too much Zelda complain about Breath of the Wild for 30 minutes. And when I showed it to Zach's like, you probably included a little too much. And I'm like, yeah, because we've watched it 3 or 4 times, and it's horrible to sit through the first time. And you got to sit through it again just to hear my response. That stuff. I didn't have to do. I could have just technically mentioned some people talk about how Breath of the Wild isn't a true Zelda, but to go another step and to kind of essentially do a little bit of a drama section.
Drama Mondays, baby.
In a video. I do not intend to do that. I try to make it very clear that there was no personal ill will. I talk good about him in several parts as well. Really didn't want to like spark hate or whatever. But he was a perfect example to use. But unfortunately, my least favorite part of the whole thing is like sort of that drama element to it, I guess, you know, where I maybe get a little too heated or whatever. And it's like, you know, it is just video game, right? At the end of the day.
It is. I mean, I would have recommended you not use the slurs that you do, but like, other than that, no, I think you handle it very well. I think if anybody got upset about that, that's their own problem. Because you transition into it really well, and it was such a catalyst for why this video was even made. I mean, it's a whole 10 minutes of the video, and so like you had to include it in some capacity, and I think you did it. I think you did it well.
The other thing I'd say for like least favorite is the pacing for like 90% of this video is really good. But there are definitely some parts of it where I'm like, that could have been shortened a little bit. Could have had a different clip here. Or one clip will transition from one to another and be like, I don't like that cut. But whereas those problems will linger in my head 3 to 4 days after a video is done, this one it was like, yeah, some of those issues are there, but they don't bother me. Like some videos.
Right.
So.
Right.
But if we were looking for things to complain about, that's probably at the top of my personal list alongside the drama stuff.
I mean, I think there's things in all of our videos that like after you watch it for like the 5th time and it's public and you're like, damn it, why didn't I catch that little mess up here? Or like there's this little part that could have been a little bit better, or I could have used something else here. Like at some point, like it's going to be something that you're going to notice only, and very few people that are watching it are going to like pay any attention to.
Especially in this case, I get it. Where I'm not talking about one game, and instead of talking about an entire franchise, there are bound to be certain spots where like I could have found a clip that worked a little bit better. But that's only because I'm choosing from a sample size of like upwards of 50 hours of footage. Like, of course I'm
50 hours of footage in games that could have been like 500 hours of footage, right?
Yeah.
Like it's, you did what you could with it. And it's a lot better that the video is out than if you had spent like another month or two to meticulously pick out which clips you needed to use, right? Like, at some point that shit doesn't matter nearly as much.
I had a B-roll shot checklist for a bunch of things, and, that gradually got broken down as it went on, just because I wanted it to be done. But no, I'm really proud of it. I enjoy it a lot. If you haven't seen it yet, please do so.
Go check it out.
This is about like what 11, 12 views right now, somewhere around there. But I
imagine
imagine
it's at 15.
It'll go up because I released it at like late afternoon when a lot of the British people would be heading to bed. So
yeah. People will probably watch it in the next few hours. People in your community, and then I think this is going to be a video that's going to get picked up, if not in the next month. Like it'll definitely get picked up later on. Everybody likes hearing about other people's Zelda opinions for some reason.
Now is just a good time in general with the E3 Direct and Skyward Sword coming out next month and 35th anniversary stuff. I'm hoping I kind of catch a little bit of that when when that shit picks up again. So who knows?
I meant to ask you earlier, but like it's a Zelda video and you bring up some other dude's videos and shit. Where was the sequelitis stuff? Like, why didn't you have Aaron like talking about Skyward Sword in the video?
Yeah. Believe it or not, that was actually a little bit of an inspiration.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
There's several parts. Granted, it's usually me going against said opinion. There's a part where I'm talking about like combat and how Zelda 1 like introduces a lot of that stuff, and Aaron agrees with that. But then I also talk about how Ocarina furthered that formula with Z-targeting and Deku Nuts, and he frankly disagrees on that.
As soon as you mentioned that, I was thinking about the sequelitis video, and I was going to make a joke about it then, but then completely forgot.
The Dark Nut Room is also from that video.
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to really fuck with it too as well, so it made sense.
That's fair.
Things like that. Oh shit, my alarm clock going off. We're recording this too early.
Wake your ass up, boy. For the listeners at home, I should probably mention that Aden got up at like 2 a.m. because he crashed pretty like early in the afternoon yesterday after being up all day. I have been up since 2 p.m. yesterday, and it's currently 8 a.m., 7 a.m. for Aden. So he's pretty well rested. I'm not. So anything I say in this episode cannot be held against me in the court of law.
It's not how that works.
I just claimed it right there. So
that's also not how that works either. Legally, you have no ground to stand on. But in the court of public opinion,
I'm currently sitting. So yeah. Kind of crazy.
But yeah, that was the first thing. Not a whole lot else actually. In general, Aden on Anchor. Still popping off on that. I did my own E3 episode, but mainly just focused on Nintendo's conference.
It's the only one that really mattered.
Yeah. Jesus, E3 was bad.
Like most of the time.
I think where E3 for you was like personal channel content, occasional shit post. E3 since 2018 for me has been exclusively Aden on Anchor material.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have a topic this week. Aden on Anchor time. And I appreciate, things like E3 coming around because it means that I don't have to think terribly hard about what I'm going to do for this week's episode. E3's here? Cool, I'll just talk about E3. It's very easy. It's very easy to do.
It is. It's also a thing where, like, I am so anti-E3 at this point that I'm not doing the live streams, I'm not doing the live tweeting, I'm not putting my opinion out there on everything during the event. But I do have like people in the community who for some reason care what I think in regards to some of this stuff and want to know like my thoughts on some of it. So making a video on it really quickly for the personal channel or doing a personal podcast episode on it, whether it's the Come Up or Aden on Anchor. I feel like that it helps get our opinions out on these kind of things relatively easily for the people that actually care. Because we don't need a main Your Everyday Nerd or Blue Couch production video on E3.
Oh, God, no.
Not right now.
And I've done those before for like 2018.
Yeah.
So they're not good. Not good.
No. Scott the Wasp can do it because he's really funny and he actually cares about games more than I do. But
Scott the Wasp is the exception. Not the
yeah.
Not the
this is true.
That man is an enigma.
Yeah,
one of a kind. Let's see, was that? I think that was basically it. Haven't done much editing for other people. It kind of slowed down weirdly.
Okay,
which I was fine with because I was working on the Zelda video. But I should probably DM him again and be
reach out to him.
Got any more stuff? But hey, that was fine. I'm trying out the Affinity software for.
That's right.
There's Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer. Photo's the main one I've been using. Is like a Photoshop alternative type thing, and I've been enjoying it. I made the Zelda thumbnail in it. Not to say I couldn't have in GIMP, but I'm at that stage of the process like I was with DaVinci where I'm not quite used to how it all works yet, and I'm more of just trying to recreate stuff I've already done. But hopefully, similar to the transition from Vegas to DaVinci, maybe my thumbnails will get a little bit better. once I've figured that out a little bit more. It also, and I didn't know this, but it also lets me import photos from my DSLR, raw photos specifically, which I couldn't have done before. So this is the first time in years since I've owned that camera that I've been able to take the images off there and then put it in my computer and edit things like exposure and white balance type shit just from the software itself. That was a cool surprise. Infinity Designer is more like a, I don't know if it'd be like Illustrator or whatever. It's a vector. It's a vector.
Probably like yeah. That's Illustrator
type shit.
Pretty complicated, but there's a lot of powerful shit you can do with it if you learn it. I still need to learn Illustrator at some point.
Similar to the Adobe things too. They communicate with each other, so not having one doesn't really help. Having both of them is good. And they were both $25. They were half off. Okay. They've been half off because of the pandemic stuff. That'll end on the 30th, so you have about 3 days if you're listening to this when it came out, if you want to try it. But I've been enjoying the heck out of it, and hoping to see some improvements from that stuff. But that's basically it, honestly.
That'd be cool.
Hadn't been streaming much. I decided that I didn't want to do a personal channel right now.
Interesting.
Not that I'm against it, and I still think it'd be a good idea. But it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm actually really happy with where I'm at currently and don't see the need to put more work on my plate right now. But what I did as a kind of a compromise and as a little Aden wants money kind of money move, I made it a goal on the Patreon. So if we get 10 patrons,
that's right,
I'll start a personal channel right now. And I figured, well, hey, at that point, $5, 10, that's like $50 a month. At that point, I could, put in a little bit of work to actually do the first one. If I'm getting $50 a month, might as well. But for free, nah. I'm
that's fair.
I'm good with where I'm at right now, currently. Yeah. And if I want to talk about personal shit, I can do it on Aiden on Anchor. I can do it on Twitter. I can do it on Discord. I have avenues. The only thing I was really wanted to use it for was live stream archive stuff. And I've kind of gone back on the fence again and being like, I don't actually care that much about it.
That's entirely fair. Oh. Yeah. In terms of live stream shit, like if you really do want to like have some kind of archive, I'd say set up a channel and just keep that shit private until you want to like make it public or something. Mm-hmm. That way you just have the shit if you want to use it for footage and videos, or if you want to go back and look on something. But that's just me being like, I don't want to delete anything ever again because I regret deleting 100 videos in 2013, even though that shit was really bad.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, you've been private in a lot of shit recently. I'm pretty much done.
I did.
So we'll just end the episode talking about this, but like,
that's fair. Yeah.
I guess for a topic or a thumbnail and be like, Zach private on 100 videos or something like that. I don't know.
I privated like over 1,000 videos.
You went on a purge.
So like almost every single old Let's Play part from Sabijan Games back in the day is pretty much privated. I think there's some post 2017 and 2018 stuff still available, but like everything 2016 and above, or before, it's gone. You can't see that shit nowhere. I also privated and unlisted a lot of shit on the main channel, although funnily enough, I also republished the Final Destination recap videos recently.
Oh boy.
So those are back if anybody cares. I've got a lot of watch time from them, and I really want to like push to do that monetization shit in like sometime before I die. So I decided to republish those because if you don't know, whenever you unlist or private a video, any watch time or views you get from that just completely gone in terms of what YouTube's monetization requirements are considered. So by republishing them, I'm getting like an extra like 300 hours from the past year, and they'll probably go back up because those videos are evergreen for some reason.
Never die, bro. Always getting views.
Don't get it. Eventually, I'll have a yen on Final Destination, and then that'll do really well, and I'll feel really comfortable with privating those again for forever. But those are back. Until then. But yeah. I've been privating shit. There was a long time where I just wanted everything available for anybody whenever. Mm-hmm. And I've since gone back on that completely because either certain old videos have not aged well because of people I had in the video, or it's just really bad and cringeworthy. Like there's like cringy is the biggest word to define a lot of my old content. But like I was a fucking teenager. Like I didn't know what I was doing. So, I used to think like, oh, it'd be cool for me to go back and watch this, and now I go back and watch some of it, and I'm like, no, this is painful.
This is not cool to go back and watch.
I'll still have it for myself, privated, forever, but it will not go public again. That's for damn sure.
I had a very similar view to you when I first started of like, I'm going to upload stuff and keep it all public. That way people can see my journey and how I'm doing and all that sort of shit.
Right.
Even to the point where I've talked about on this podcast, like adding new thumbnails, like adding new titles, making them all look similar, fixing up the descriptions. I put a considerable amount of TLC into videos that were released in 2016 that are not good.
Yeah.
And why did I do that? Yeah. For like that same sort of logic of like, I'm going to keep it all up. I'm going to show all the history or whatever. But weirdly, the further I've gone into it, the more that I care about this stuff now, the more I'm like, yeah, this got to get deleted. This got to be gone from the internet. No, sir. And I still care, but now it's like, I care less about all this stuff being public, and I more so care about not having a bad video publicly available on a YouTube channel to be watched at any time that I'm trying to turn into a sustainable like thing, right? It just didn't make sense anymore. It's not the type of content I do. It gives people the wrong idea. The videos are bad, and I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna private shit that I made this year, 2019 or 2018. But right around 2017 and earlier has been the cutoff date for me of like the point of no return, where shit is just bad and I didn't know what I was doing, and it's just does not need to be there. The only thing that you can still find outside of the public videos on my channel are the unlisted live streams. And those I have a bit more nostalgia for because I can't just save a copy of those. They're too big.
Right.
But I kept all my videos on a hard drive. They're gone from YouTube. They're deleted from YouTube, but they're all on a hard drive. I can access them anytime I want. I don't need other people watching them currently. And that's just been the longer I've gotten into it. I didn't always used to think that way. But that was kind of a mindset shift, I guess, the further I've gone into it. Or like, yeah, that shit bad. I need to do a little TLC and clean the channel of junk.
Well, I've even gotten to the point now where, like, for Your Everyday Nerd, I'm putting up my 133rd episode today. And a lot of those original season 1 episodes, the first 100, are also not good. And we're talking about late 2018 and like 2019 stuff that just like, I mean, there's like fundamental flaws. Whether it's the film quality or the audio, the script or the pacing, really just bad jokes that shouldn't have even been made. And I'm not talking about like offensive jokes that shouldn't have been made. I just mean like they're just not funny. Yeah. Like just not funny. So like eventually, bro, I'm being honest, in like 2 years, do not be surprised if I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to be redoing the first 100 episodes.
No.
Not that much, but like there's definitely like the first episode, the Scooby-Doo video, like I'm probably just going to like remake that or retool it in a way where I include more Scooby-Doo movies and then just like unlist that video at some point, just because it's not good.
Well, that was the thing about the Disney video too, is like, not only are you talking about more movies, but in a way it is kind of a remake to the Snow White one.
It is.
But in
I
Snow
say
White's
the same
case,
things.
the Snow White video is still good. You know, I can still go back and watch that.
It's still soon enough to where or recent enough to where I still like that video.
I think what it comes down to is the gap in quality. So the gap from present day Zach to 2016 Zach is enormous. And going back to those videos are not good and they're not worth keeping. Whereas comparatively, the gap between present day Zach to late 2018 is not as bad. And so they're a little bit more tolerable to stay. But that's the thing about growing, right? Eventually, if we all keep at our standard pace and continue to improve and don't quit, which I doubt we would at this point, that gap's only going to get bigger, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So by the time we hit like 2024 or something, then yeah, I'm sure eventually some of that 2018 stuff is not going to look as favorably. But I also think at that point, because none of those 2018 videos are like technically awful, like you can hear them, you can watch them, there is editing involved comparatively.
There's
to
worse
some
content on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Then I'm probably going to be nicer to them as they age, where I'm not like, okay, yeah, this is bad, but you can technically watch it. Shit from 2016, half the time you couldn't even like watch
it. You can't hear anything. The quality is so awful. 100%.
And at that point, my nostalgia is not kind to it anymore, where I'm like, this is just objectively awful. Or shit from 2018 is like, yeah, this isn't good. But like I see videos like this today, you know, that do well.
I remember I look back on 2015 sometimes. Some, like, not anymore, but like for a while I looked back at 2015 fondly, because it was a period of my YouTube career where I was doing a lot of collaborative videos. I was putting out a lot of random Let's Play shit. Like I was all over the place in 2015, similar to 2017. But I recently like looked back on like a Gary's Mod video, and I had like 20 Gary's Mod highlight videos. And I watched 3 of them in a row, and I wondered where the highlights were.
This is just Gary's Mod gameplay. What?
It was not funny. I was never funny. I was annoying. Mm-hmm. The people I was in the call with were also annoying and not funny. It was trash. And I'm like, damn.
And that would be
so you're right. That's the nostalgia that's just gone.
Absolutely. That would be the thing I would share with you all, is like the one bit of practical advice for the episode is, if you've been doing YouTube as long as me and Zach have, and have gotten to the point now where you can look back on a video that is like objectively trash, feel free to private that, man. Don't feel like you have to keep that public for your legacy or whatever. Like, nobody cares. You're fine. You are fine, and you're doing yourself a favor in the long run when your channel does eventually take off, and they don't have a chance to click on the landmine of a video that was top 20 pizza rolls I found in my freezer. You know, like, it's okay that video is not public anymore.
Write that down.
That's fine.
Top 20 pizza rolls.
Yeah. Say that for the personal channel.
Yeah. But it's a good problem to have. Like you said, it's growth. It's very cool to watch something from 2 years ago and be like, man, this is bad. And it's like, I remember that being the best thing I'd made at that time.
And I would never advocate really cool for like erasing history and losing all the copies of it, because eventually, you know, I'm gonna want that stuff. But definitely. On a public platform such as YouTube.com, your nostalgia does not have to be for other people's enjoyment or lack thereof.
No. And any other platform, I deleted a shit ton of tweets recently.
Curate that shit, man.
I'm trying to go back and delete shit on Facebook. Bro, I might just get a bot and delete everything pre-college on Facebook. Everything. I don't give a fuck. Just because, like, it's just all bad. It's all bad. It's not that I'm not that person anymore, you know, in many regards. I've grown and changed so much since I started YouTube and since I started doing anything online that I'm just a completely different person.
Curate that shit, man. Looking forward to the day when Carrie and I curates that main channel, so I can watch some of the best of the best and not have to scroll through a Let's Play part with bad audio. But
I figured out the best way to watch the best Carrie and I videos recently.
Yeah. A little hidden tip, bonus tip.
Little hidden tip, bonus tip. So on the personal channel, I am subscribed to the main homies through there. Mm-hmm. Just so that I can have a feed that is just the main homies sometimes if I want to take a screenshot or whatever. Anyways, so I go on my personal account on YouTube, on my app, and I'm trying to make sure the new YouTube short that I put out on Your Everyday Nerd looks good. And it does. And then I scrolled down and it's a Carrie and I video from like 3 months ago. And it's because Parker's put out so many short little meme videos that YouTube has picked them up as YouTube shorts. And so I went down this rabbit hole of just watching like 15 Carrie and I YouTube shorts earlier. And I'm like, this is funny. Where's more of this?
The shit posts are good. I'm not referring to those videos. Those are golden. Those are golden.
Did not see a single Skyrim Let's Play part. It's glorious.
In a perfect world, it would be those shit posts, the music videos that he wants to keep, whatever. Cool with that. Any personal vlogs, and then Kari and the Captain. Everything else. Everything else goes.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. People listening to this podcast probably don't care. That's the end of the episode. Hope you enjoyed. One of the longer weeks on YouTube. Had a lot of shit to talk about.
Do be. I have one more question before we wrap it up.
Yeah, sure.
What do you do at Aesthetic Corporation?
I'm not at liberty to discuss my business transactions with Aesthetic Industries at this point in time.
Okay.
But believe me, later this year, shit's about to pop off. So I don't want to promise anything, but
fair enough.
You know, we got Windows 11 coming out soon, so I'm thinking.
Oh yeah.
My Aesthetic OS will be the new future.
Oh shit! I've been Zach,
and I've been Aden.
Thank you for listening to this episode of another YouTube podcast.
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic. I want something that should have died.